So this is a game I played as black, and I want to show you this game because there are some hidden patterns and hidden, what do you call, ideas that you might want to implement in your games, right? So white begins with e4, standard king pawn opening. I respond with e5, right? Now, I expected white to develop his knight, or maybe his bishop. These are the three most common moves which are played after e4. But white played a strange move, d3. Now, the idea behind d3 is to support this pawn, but it was absolutely unnecessary. You need to develop in the middle first. You need to, I mean, it wouldn't have been bad to get d4 out, right? So, well, that's what white played to support the pawn, and I went ahead with my development, right? Because if he doesn't develop, I might as well, right? Now, this attacks this pawn. It's defended right now, so I can't take it, but we'll see as we go forward. Now, my man decides to bring out his bishop, right? He brings it out and pins this knight to my queen, right? So now if my knight moves, my queen will be taken. So just to give you an example, let's say if I play, I don't know, I'll play knight here. It's immediately losing because, yeah, right, my queen is hanging. But yeah, I have, this is pinned. Now I have an option to chase away the bishop, ask it what it's doing, in which case it takes, I take, it's a fair trade. Or there is a variation where, you know, he goes back, I chase it once again, he goes back, but there is an overextension, right? If I want to, I can't now cancel kingside because my pawns are way forward. Now, so yeah, could have done that, but instead here I developed the other knight, right? So I have two knights in the middle of the board staring at the center, very well placed, and my opponent also decides to develop his knight now, his queen's knight. Okay. Now the idea behind this move is he wants to come to d5 and attack my knight. Now since my knight can't move because it's pinned, right? So he'll be adding an attacker, and it's going to lead him to either damaging my pawns or making sure that I have some uncomfortable situation to deal with during the game. So in this position, I played bishop to c4, sorry, c5, right? Now the best move here was actually to put the bishop on this square, pinning this knight to the king. So pinning this knight to the king so that this knight can't attack my knight. It will be illegal to move out of the pin. So at which point my opponent, just to show you, if this was the move, my opponent would have asked me the question of what I'm doing there. I would have taken with check. Now my opponent has damaged pawn structure, doubled pawns, and chess would have been played, right? I would have done the same here. Now in this case, if I ask this question, it's a very different story. I don't need to take with the pawn, I can take with a queen here. The pawns stay apart, my queen is out, directly staring into this pawn, and I'll castle, the game will go on. But okay, right, yeah, this was the position. But in this position, okay, in this position I played bishop to c4. The idea behind this move is that the bishop stares at this weak pawn, which is just protected by the king, right? So it's going to be useful in the future, as you will see. My opponent proceeds with his plan, that is bringing the knight directly into the middle. Now there are two pieces staring at this at my knight. Sorry, there are two pieces staring at my knight, the bishop and the knight. And obviously I can't move it because the moment I move it, I lose my queen, right? The bishop is staring at my queen through the knight. But I moved it anyway. Now as you can see, the evaluation goes 3.1, which means white has a significant advantage here. Why? Because my queen is hanging. Is it? Yeah, so my opponent thought, yeah, it's a hanging queen. Let me take his queen. And you see the problem here. The evaluation goes the other way. It's never too late to get Uno reversed here, right? So it says M2. It's not just an advantage, it's a forced bait in 2. Well, that's exactly what I wanted my opponent to play, so that I could deliver bishop takes f2 check. Yes. This pawn was protected by the king. My bishop took it. The king is under attack. This square is protected by my knight. My bishop is protected by my knight. So the only move here is king to e2. And then I get in my other knight, and that's mate. Because the only remaining escape square here is covered by my knight. The other knight continues to protect my bishop and the other square. And the bishop protects these two squares. So the king has nowhere to run. None of these pieces can be captured. Well, of course, this knight could be captured. But it's this knight who is delivering the check, so it will be illegal to do that. And that's how I won. Now I want to take you back to this position. Why does the engine say +3 if my queen cannot be taken? Why does it give an advantage to white? Well, it's because you shouldn't take the queen. You should take the knight instead. Yeah, now there's the hanging bishop. And if black takes the bishop, there is this move. Check, and the rook is hanging. It's a fork. I have to move out of check. The rook will be captured, and white is up material. Of course, this knight will perish sooner or later, but it can also be saved. There's no escape. This is protected by the king. This is protected by the pawn. But, well, now the king can't castle either. And there's one rook less. You can get the pieces out. Slowly create a winning advantage here. So that's it from this video, my friends. I took advantage of development. When he pinned my knight, I kept developing, brought all the pieces out, ignored the pin, and he fell for the trap. Got his king trapped. That's it for this video. See you next time.